G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Cliffside to watch two of the world's best players take each other on in an absolutely amazing matchup. One of my favorite matchups from a long time ago. Let's introduce our players today, spawning in on the east side of the map in the color purple, playing as the English, rather the Holy Roman Empire, apologies. We've got our Chinese friend, and on the west side of the map in the color teal, playing as the English. We got that one right, at least. 50% ain't bad. It's Kiljardi. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. This is Cliffside. If you're enjoying this 1v1 content, please, I encourage you, go ahead, leave a like on the video. It really helps out the traction of the video. And besides, if I didn't ask you, you probably wouldn't do it anyway. Well, I mean, some of you would have. I do see some of you out there, you know, liking the video, even though you're asked, or not asked, I should say. I got mad respect for you, man. How many videos do I watch and I just never like them? Because I'll be honest, like, YouTube's a little bit different from like, you know what they say about like dealing. I don't know if I should use the terms, but they say you shouldn't ever use it if you're dealing it, right? And the way I look at it, it's like, no, man, I must spend like 2-3 hours a day on YouTube, and I don't think I've hit a like button in a couple of months. So look, I'm not going to get mad if you forget to hit the like button. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup. We've got English, we've got the Holy Roman Empire. This has been a matchup that I've loved for a long time. I want to cast your minds back to like a year ago. Do you guys remember when the Council Hall could only make longbows? This matchup was impossible, man. The Holy Roman Empire just ran over the English so easily. They just made a couple men-at-arms, laughed in their face, and then just went to Castle Age. I don't think that's going to happen here because we've seen a number of changes from the English in recent times. One of the big ones, of course, is the Abbey of Kings. Do we potentially see an Abbey of Kings coming out today? That's what we're going to be keeping our eye on Kiljardi for. I'm kind of expecting it. Ark and Chapel, no surprise, it'll be going down on the other side of the map. There's a beautiful little spot right here. All right, you can throw it right there as well. I was kind of, I guess it's, I thought this was a stone. Never mind. I'm going to backtrack right now. I thought this was a stone, guys. It's perfectly fine. Gonna opt for the Ark and Chapel right next to the town center. Gets the gold, gets the majority of the TC, couple stragglers as well. Nice little spot here, brings back a couple sheep. He'll be feeling good about himself. Meanwhile, towards the other side of the map, Kiljardi now with 3 vills on the Abbey of Kings. Interesting that players aren't rushing up the Abbey of Kings. I genuinely thought we would see players just look to really rush this bad boy up, but it doesn't seem to be the case. No one's really that interested in rushing it up. We do, though, speak of rushing, right now a mining camp, it looks like it's going to be a slow trickle of resources in for a second town center. So no real surprises here, and I'm kind of curious to see how this matchup goes because I've got my suspicions about what's going to happen. We're probably going to see a fast castle come out of the HRE. We're probably going to see an Abbey of Kings 2TC. I don't know what the follow-up is, though, from Kiljardi. Like, does he just go into second town center, then into fast castle? Or does he go second town center into units? Because I feel like if you go into units, you're only going to be going up against, like, the Gilded Knight, the Royal Knight. Oh, my God, the Knight. Let's just say the Knight, the Holy Roman Empire Knight, because that's what it is. It's not gilded, it's not royal, it's not special, it's just a knight. I mean, I'll be honest, Knight, you're pretty special. You're probably the best unit in the game. Actually, now that I think about it, right, if you had to pick one class of unit and say this unit is the best unit in the game, what would it be? And why would it be the Knight? Well, it would be the Knight because the Knight is fast. The Knight is capable. The Knight is a trustworthy steed that you can rely on when times get tough. I feel like it's probably the Knight. Like, what else could it be? I mean, the crossbow maybe is kind of up there as well. Like, when you think about classes of units, spearmen, get out of here. Men-at-arms maybe as well. You could definitely make an argument for the men-at-arms. I feel like, though, definitely the Knight. As a class of unit, you'd have to say the Knight is the best class of unit. It can choose all of its battles. It can basically take on anybody else. Beats the archer, beats the men-at-arms, beats the crossbow. The only thing it won't beat is the spearman. And the thing is, you just never have to fight the spearman if you don't want to. You can just perpetually run around the octagon and be like, you know what? I'm not going to fight you. And speaking of not fighting, have a look at this. Kiljardi snagging all of the sheep away. Purple just out here like, where are these sheep? And speaking of having a look, have a look at this. Jeez, that went up really high. I was like, there's no way this connects with everything else, but it turns out it does. Scout coming around the backside of the base. Outpost on the way through here for the Holy Roman Empire. Meanwhile, King starting to move across. Second town center about to be thrown down here. Look at the timing on this as well. This is the same timing that I was hitting when we were rushing. I can't get off my high horse, dude. I'm like, I was making town centers at 5 minutes, and I was rushing to Abbey of King. Like, that's me. I apologize. I got to calm myself down right now. You know, I'm a caster, and that's for a very good reason. It's because I'm not a good enough player to be a player. But these guys, though, these guys are good. Kiljardi, currently rank 10 on the ladder. Holy Roman Empire opponent, sits just outside the top 20. So it's a very close matchup when it comes to skill. Looking to push through now with that king. Not going to be able to find too much. And to be honest, he doesn't really do much with this either in regard to like forcing your opponent into a specific, you know, reaction. Like, this is very par for the course for the Holy Roman Empire. Like, Holy Roman Empire, Japanese, this is pretty much what you come to expect from them. But have a look at this. We do see the Regnants now coming out. So I think for Kiljardi, going into units here is going to make a lot of sense. You go into units, you try and delay those relics getting picked up. So I think you probably want to open maybe longbows and a couple of spears. Probably makes the most sense. But then how do you deal with men-at-arms pushing you back off those relics? That could be a difficult spot. So let's see exactly how he reacts, because at the moment, it's just going to look like, realistically, the Holy Roman Empire player is just going to pick up every single relic on the map. And that's kind of scary, right? Like, you don't really want to be playing against a Holy Roman Empire player with 5 relics. But Kiljardi should have something up his sleeve here, and indeed he does have something up his sleeve. It's going to be an archery range of all things. I don't think I was expecting that. No, I'll be honest, I was expecting that. Of course it was going to be the archery range. Though, still at this stage, right, like if I'm playing as the Holy Roman Empire, can we just check his vision and see what he sees? Okay, there we go, perfect. He double checks, and I'm just going to put down a stable right now. So just go ahead, throw down that stable, probably right here, and just start making some knights. Absolutely beautiful. Easy to do. Never mind. He's one step ahead of me. He's already thrown the stable down. Prelate's going to get denied out here on the top side. I don't think he's going to be keeping this prelate alive. Keep in mind, he's not even going to be able to do the Wallalol, but very unfortunate that the very first relic he was going for was the one that the king was sitting on top of. It just feels terrible knowing that, like, your one relic, or your one prelate that you had, that you've been saving since the beginning of the game, like, goes out and just immediately dies. It's like, not a good feeling here. Anyway, let's check on Kiljardi and see where he's at, what his plans are. So the scouts are chilling out. He's got a nice little patrol route towards the top side of the base. The scout's going to do a decent job of providing cover, checking out for those relics. And I'm curious to see exactly how he goes about finding the rest of the prelates that are out here. Knight's now going to come out, but remember, the king should just be going after the prelate, right? Like, this is a little bit of a mistake here from Purple to actually take this relic. Or not to take this relic, but to come out here. Wallalol's not going to affect the king, if I remember correctly. So even though he's going to try and get this off, doesn't change a thing. Doesn't change a thing, buddy. Put that relic down. Loses the king. Denies the prelate. Is that worth? I'm going to be honest. I think that's worth 100%. Because you delay the tempo, right? Like, that's the big thing. You've got to remember that it is about, like, tempo with the Holy Roman Empire. Picking up the relics. And now all of a sudden, I've got to go now pick up this relic again. Deposit it again. It's annoying, all right? That's what it is. That's the best word for it. There's no other way about it. But now Kiljardi standing in the middle of the map, looking to block the relics. You shall not pass. And somehow the knight decides, you know what? I'm going to run away. And then he gets hit by the palings. Second one's going to get paled as well. But you can see, like, to me, this is like that was a game-winning move that Kiljardi just did, picking up that first prelate. Then the second prelate as well. It wasn't necessarily a game-winning move, but it was like a game-losing mistake there from the Holy Roman Empire player. Because now all of a sudden, that 3 relics, or the 3 prelates that should be holding 3 relics, should actually be closer to 4. And now you've got problems, because walls are starting to come up. This should have already been picked up. This one, you should be on the way to go pick this up right now. Villager, well, no, longbow that's down here. Like, in my mind, the closest relic is always the last relic to pick up, especially when you've got such an advantage in a circumstance like this. But maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. Maybe if your opponent is playing feudal, maybe the closest relic is the best relic to pick up, because arguably they're all safe relics, right? Because your opponent's not going to be able to deny any of them from you. It's only a matter of time until you get them. So maybe naturally it makes sense to go for the closest one first. That way you just get the gold trickle started. That's an interesting way to think of it. Anyway, first relic does make its way back. Second one is in his possession. Looks like it's going to be right there in this outpost. That's where it is. So we've got 2 relics now in. Third relic towards the south side is being guarded up. Fourth relic Also on that that southwestern side of the map. It's getting walled in. North side, there's another relic, but I do fear that this wall may be a little bit too close to the relic, and there's a chance the prelate can stand next to it and pick it up. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Prelate is moving northward to this position. More units now going to start coming down here as well. Kiljardi just inside the base at the moment. Interestingly, not paying too much attention to the relics. Hopefully... Also, sorry, apologies, not Kiljardi. For some reason, I think Kiljardi is playing on the purple. He's not. It's purple who's playing on the purple. Kiljardi playing on the teal. But yeah, I mean, at this stage, though, I'm kind of curious to see where Kiljardi goes from here. It looks like it might be Castle Age, though I'm curious to see how well he's going to be able to deny this. And we do see that the relic is now walled in. Prelate's going to come through here. Royal Knight's going to be able to siege it down, but I want to see whether he can actually... Don't just start taking the sacred site. Is that... You got to at least test it. You got to see, okay, can I get this relic? And remember, relics are infinitely more important than sacred sites. Infinite. Like an infinite amount. We'll pick up the first relic, or I say the third relic. A little bit of a raid now, back towards the base of purple. Couple knights out. Men-at-arms also going to be joining the fray. This is where it starts to get scary. The knights definitely make sense when you're starting out, but transitioning into the men-at-arms makes a lot of sense as well, because now Kiljardi's having a little bit of a tough time. Do we have that age up on the way through? Doesn't seem like it just yet. Now, remember, the longer that this game goes on and Kiljardi keeps him out on the map like this, the better it gets for Kiljardi, because he's on 2 TC. So there's definitely a win condition here for the English. Have a look at this. Slowly working down this gate. You know, I was of the mindset that maybe you could just pick up the relic through the wall. Kiljardi, unfortunately, he's going to find out the hard way, where purple is just going to burn the wall down, though. As long as the prelate is the one that gets focused, it's going to be a tough spot for him. So this is really annoying when your opponent goes after things like just going after the prelate. But now that knight's going to come through. Prelate also going to be accompanying him. That's going to be 3 relics in favor of purple. Definitely, it's a goal that you want to try and achieve, right? 3 relics always feels good. Looks like in the end, the palisade wall, he's going to be burning down. Does he have a villager on the way out here? I'd love to see just a single villager to come out here and rebuild and repair this wall, because it will go down. But if you can get the repair off as well, very, very annoying. But he's definitely outmaneuvering him early on in this game. It always feels like Kiljardi's just a step ahead, right? Like, there's no two ways about it. You know, if Kiljardi had gone in, or rather, if purple had come out here, gosh, why do I keep calling Kiljardi purple? I got no idea why it's happening. But if he'd come out here for this first relic, it would have been a different ball game, man. It would have been completely different. You know, he was just unprotected on that angle, or not unprotected, but there was unchallenged on that angle. Never would have had to have worried about losing that first prelate. Maintains the tempo. And now I think the big question is, after the Holy Roman Empire, so ideally you want to secure a 4th relic here. If you can't, oh, this is begging for it right here. Did we ever get a prelate that came along? Yeah, it doesn't look like there's been any prelates that have come along the side. And I feel like sneaking prelates is so important when it comes to playing the Holy Roman Empire, like trying to get them along the edge of the map. Like, you should just be mass-producing prelates here. Not mass-producing, but like, you got 800 gold in the bank, bro. Like, there's no excuse. You should have 4 or 5 more prelates out right now. Skewers come in. Knight's going to go down. Unfortunate to see. Men-at-arms going to be looking to replace, or not replace, but slam their face. Meanwhile, White Tower comes up in between the 2 town centers. There is no chance that these town centers are going down easily. It's going to take a bit of a fight to get to them. But of course, once that White Tower is up, oh, this is going to be a very nice defense coming through. Have a look at how many vills jump inside this, and look how quickly he obliterates through. Look at the damage that comes in. I hope that purple's paying attention right now, because it definitely feels like he isn't. All of these men-at-arms just going to go down. He manages to get a couple of villagers here. Looks like 3 vills in total, but in the end, even though he's got +2 ranged armor, the White Tower doesn't care, man. The White Tower absolutely, it destroys when it comes to units. Because you've got to remember that the town center, it has 8 damage with a base of 6 on the bows for everybody else, whereas the base for the White Tower is 10 damage. So they've got an extra 4 damage, which might not seem like a lot, but when you're thinking about, you know, an enemy unit that's got 6 armor, essentially you're doing 4 times the damage that the town center is doing. That's a lot of difference. An extra 4 times the amount of damage. Not an extra 4 damage. I mean, it is an extra 4 damage because it's only 1. Well, it's not even. It's an extra 3 damage. You guys get the idea, right? It's this building more effective against units than this one. There you go. That's it. Relics. Let's talk relics. 3 relics on the side of the Holy Roman Empire. 1 relic walled. 2nd relic to the top walled. Do we see a monastery? Indeed we do. Monastery now starting to come up for Kiljardi. He will be looking to deny these relics. Now, I'm going to say it right now. The big thing for me here is the Holy Roman Empire getting to Imperial Age. I feel like this is a mandatory thing in this matchup. I feel like you need to do it. If he doesn't do it, he's going to be in a tough spot because you've got to remember, his opponent has been on 2 TC now for the better part of 10 minutes. That's a bit of a villager lead that has built up here. And so, naturally, the only way that you're really going to catch this from here is either putting down a 2nd town center and then a 3rd town center, or going for a Palace of Swabia. So that's kind of where I'm hoping that he goes for, and I think that you can combo that really well against the English, mainly because the English are going to be going for that spearman crossbow combo. So if you put down the Swabia, so I'd be kind of tempted to put it down like right here, and you put the cannon, or the outpost on the backside. You put the outpost down before you age up, make sure you get the fortifications in, and the moment that you're aged up, get the cannon emplacement in. You probably also want to put one in your base right here next to your regnants, chuck a relic inside both of them, 2 cannon emplacements. You're safely in Imperial Age, baby. That is it. So we'll look to see whether he opts for that or whether he plays it out in Castle Age. But I would say I definitely feel like it would be a mistake to play it out in Castle Age, especially considering your opponent has stayed 1 or 2 TC for quite some time now. So that villager advantage will start to get fleshed out even further the longer this game goes out or goes on. Prelate in the middle going to be going down. Still 2 relics out on the map. Also got the gates that have come up here for Kiljardi. I love the fact that he didn't even he didn't even just like move the monk out there and then just delete the wall. He just put a gate in. That's kind of wild when you think about it. He's investing. He wants to make sure that these walls stay around for the better part of the game. All right, let's check in on the other side and see how the Holy Roman Empire is doing. Looks like he's going to start massing up archers together with men-at-arms. Now, I feel like he would be very disappointed, and I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed. Why aren't you challenging those relics, right? Like, you know about this position. What's stopping you from taking this entire army up there with a prelate to go and get your rightful, relic? You're just watching the man take your relics off the game board. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be a Giga Chad right now. It feels bad to be a Giga Chad right now. You should be out there, son. You should be capturing sacred sites and stealing taking your rightful relics. But it isn't the case today. And I think that's pretty big, right? Like, I often say with the Holy Roman Empire, 3 relics is good, 4 relics is great, 5 relics, there's a problem. Your enemy's not doing something that they definitely should be. There are circumstances where you allow the Holy Roman Empire to gather 5 relics, but those are very rare circumstances, and we're not going to see that today here. Kiljardi does a good job of managing to deny 2 of those relics out from his opponent. More walls now going to start coming up. Keeps the diamond in. Looks to wall off on that south side, but I'm a big fan of these walls. These walls make a lot of sense. Crossbows together with knights, so not going to be going into the spearman combo. Instead, going to be going crossbow and knights. And to be honest, this is quite good against the Holy Roman Empire. I think this is actually a smart move. I mentioned before that he could be going spearman crossbow, which is a great combo. But against the Holy Roman Empire, it can be very tough. It can be punished quite easily, as I managed, by just going Imperial and putting down those cannon emplacements. But one of the things to note is he's still making units. Like, he's making a lot of units, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Mr. Purple, I don't like this one bit. I don't like it one bit, my friend. You got a lot of resources in your units. Oh my god, that's a lot of units right now. These all could have been just like, these could have been farms in Imperial Age. And we could have been living the life right now. We could have been overtaking our opponent when it comes to villager count. But no, not today. We've made a lot of units. And let's see how strong this Holy Roman Empire position is. Makes his way forward. A lot of men-at-arms. Upgrades are well and truly through here. And not only does he have that heavy maces upgrade, he's also got +2. He doesn't have the, what is it? What's the other upgrade that they've got? Heavy maces, and then I want to say savage maces, but we're not playing Heroes of Newerth, so it's not savage mace. Savage mace was a sick item, by the way. That mini stun was annoying. Anyway, let's keep on moving on here. That's for the 3 guys that played Hon back in 2008, 2009? Somewhere around then. Anyway, men-at-arm push, kind of good. The only trouble is, though, you're pushing up against units that have got the backing of a white tower. So are you really ever going to do anything in here? Like, you're running underneath the white tower and like, oh yeah, don't worry, guys. It's going to be fine. We're just going to chase down the units underneath the white tower with the 16 villagers that are inside of it, just pumping out damage. Like, look at this. 12 bow attack That's the base damage that it's doing. It is shredding right now. Look at this white tower. I'm sorry, Purple. I do not approve of this play. This is a terrible play, Purple. Please stop doing this. Turn around. Go back where you came from. Go Imperial Age, Purple. Please stop it. Why is he throwing away like this? I just don't understand it. You're up against the white tower. This is the most hardcore defensive building that there is in Age of Empires 4 history, with the exception of maybe the Red Palace or the Elsbach, or the Spasskaya. But in the Castle Age, it's a very, very good keep. I'll say that much. Much better than the Barbican. That's a Feudal Age landmark, Drongo. Are there any other Castle Age keep landmarks, now that I think about it? Hold your horses. Now that I think about it, are there any other Castle Age keeps? There probably are. I'm just a little bit special. I'm going through it on my head, or in my head. I can't think of any. I can't think of any for the life of me. I'm sure there's probably one. I'm gonna have to go check in game after this. Like, oh, of course, the Ottomans. It's not. It's an Imperial Age keep. Don't even at me. It's not. All right. Spear numbers now starting to build. We got Spear Crossbow coming out from the Holy Roman Empire of all players. He's going to be looking to go into Spear Crossbow. I love the crossbows for the Holy Roman Empire, but you never really get to see them. They're rare. They're rare. Hold on. Imperial Age from Kiljardi. Kiljardi's the one going Imperial Age. I guess that's the consequence of being 2 TCs. So, yeah, I really feel like the biggest mistake this game for the Holy Roman Empire player was not going Imperial. I think he 100% could have gotten Imperial without too much of a hassle. He might have had to have dealt with like a bit of a night timing attack, and I think that it would have been relatively successful, but I think in the end he probably would have caught up to Kiljardi about this timing, in fact. Now that Imperial Age is online though, and we do see it is going to be the Wynguard, what are the next units that we see? Do we dare see Rangers? We've been seeing a lot of Rangers out recently, and it looks like it's going to be the Wynguard Footman. These units are particularly powerful. Oh gosh, what was that? That was... Excuse me. They're particularly powerful because they get bonus damage, if I remember correctly, against heavy units. It's either heavy units or men-at-arms specifically. It's one of the two. Hold on. It doesn't tell you. I'm 99% sure. No, I'm going to say I'm 86% sure. It's just like +6 damage against heavy. But it could be different. Let's have a look. It's been a while since I've seen Mr. Footman working out in the open. Kiljardi. Have a look at the military difference, by the way. 28 versus 77. 30 versus 77. So he's got quite a bit of difference. There they are. The Footman now out. It's +5 versus cavalry. How did I get that so damn wrong, dude? These guys are tanky, though. 280 health is a lot of health. And they only take 1 population. But they're very gold heavy, aren't they? It's like they cost 0 gold. 400 gold. Okay, there we go. They did change the cost of this unit. They made it a lot more food heavy than what it used to be. I think it was 200, 500 before. Now it's 300, 400. So slightly more reasonable. Though I do imagine like an army of Wynguard Footmen could actually be legit. Enclosure's now going to start coming through as well for Kiljardi. We see that Imperial Age tech on the way. Also looking for Bloomery, so just going to be fully upgrading these units at the wazoo. And I love the fact he's kind of chilling, but there's the Elsbach coming down in 1v1. Now, just keep in mind, Purple is on 1 TC this whole time. Like, Purple is 23 minutes, 1 TC, 3 relics into an Elsbach. Like, this ain't FFA, bro. Like, there isn't one there's not one sacred site in the middle, and you're actively, like, taking it and going for the sacred victory. Like, I don't see a world where this wins. But... maybe I'm just a little bit, maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just a hater. Wynguard Footman now moving forward. Remember when they didn't have the heavy tag as well? Well, they had it, but they weren't affected by, like, crossbows. That was kind of wild. And now they're coming through. Remember, they're kind of like pseudo-horsemen at this stage. On the front, crossbows dealing out plenty of damage. Keep in mind the military advantage currently sits with Purple. He's also got the Wynguard that's going to be providing a little bit of shelter here, if need be. A little bit of a raid. Knight coming through on that backside. Footman getting eaten alive. He's got more in queue, though. Have a look at this. 10 of them out on the map. More reinforcements on the way. 6 more coming up the rear. He's really looking to leverage the power of the Wynguard Footman. Keep in mind, not only do they have that big health pool, But there are a number of upgrades he's still yet to get. So we don't have elite army tactics through. He's still working on his +1s, +2s, +3s, all that good stuff. But archery range is now going to start coming out here as well. And he's just spamming out Footman. Have a look at this. It is non-stop. He is going 100% all in on the Footman. Footman? Footman? Footman. You know, what's in... I just had this weird thought where in England, or in the old times, you used to get a surname depending on what you did. So that's why, like, you'd get names like Footman, because, like, maybe your great-great-great-great-grandfather was a footman. And so they'd just be like, which Adrian are you talking about? You know, the Footman. Adrian Footman. Oh, yeah, him. And so that's how you'd get, like, all of these random last names for people. Like, I can't think of a single example. I was trying to think of a punchline there for the joke, but I don't want to get demonetized, so I'm like really censoring myself. I was going to say something absolutely terrible, but I'm like, I can't say that. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I feel like I'm being neutered by YouTube, man. Oh, it's terrible, dude. It really sucks, man. My creative freedom is being limited because I'm Australian. Because I'm Australian? Well, I mean, as an Australian, I've got a weird sense of humor. And I want to be humorous to myself. I want to make jokes that I can laugh at, but I feel like I can't. Meanwhile, the Footman standing strong. Look at them hold on. We gotta get ourselves a little bit of a shot of that right now. We got ourselves a bit of a battle unfolding. Oh, get on out of there. Footman on the front, up against the elite spears. Have a look at that. Crossbows on the back line, teeing off towards them. Meanwhile, we got crossbows on both sides, but the Footmen are way too strong. Have a look at this. Overpowering the central sacred site, and that's going to be it. The game gets called. The Footmen are too strong. The Elsbach goes down, and that is it. Kiljarni comes out victorious with a Footman spam, and I tell you what, I want to be calling myself Footman after that because I am a big fan of the feat. Anyway, go check him out. Links in the description, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.